let's talk about, this was under a suggestion and I have completely forgotten about spirits that reside in like stones and stuff, or trees. Now I'm just gonna start it off with just saying real quick, a real short explanation somewhat of these kind of stones. Now when it comes to our funeral, I don't like how this is so close there, about the funeral practices. When they bury somebody, they give about up to 1 year to put a headstone on the grave. And if a year passes by and the grave doesn't have a headstone, a stone is not being put because it serves no purpose. The stone is usually put there for that spirit of that dead person to have like a house. So if 1 year passes by, that means that the spirit has already moved on and the stone is not needed anymore. Besides headstones, also trees are being planted, and usually trees that are considered belonging to the dead, chthonic trees like a pear or cherry or stuff like that, are placed over there. Now, when it comes to us, we as Slavs and on the Balkan, we venerate trees. So it kind of goes hand in hand with the spirits and everything. Some trees are known as trees belonging to the spirits of the thunder, like the oak. And those would be very important for the community life of the village. That's where the leaders would go and gather underneath that tree to make decisions that are good for the community. And that's where they would swear, because they would swear in front of the thunder deity, the thunder bringing spirit. And if they do that, then they will not break their oath, because they will be struck by lightning. And usually that tree is called zapis. And when Christianity came, this practice kind of kept on going, with the difference that now that became, you know, a little bit something else, and they put like a cross on the tree, and that's very important, and nobody's supposed to cut it down. There has been even recently kind of disputes when it comes to that, like probably like a year or so ago in Serbia. And this is just one instance that made it to the news. I cannot even think about how many instances there is that don't make it to the news. The state was about to make like a new highway, and they needed to tear down this pear tree. And the villagers would not let them do that. And nobody wanted to be the one that would cut down that tree, because they were scared of bad luck if they do that. Now, what would happen if a tree would need to really be cut down? What people would do was they would offer, if they feel that the spirit has not been appropriated well enough before they cut down the tree, they offer a sacrifice of a rooster to it, and then they put a stone on top of the tree trunk after they cut it. That way, the spirit of the that dwelled in the tree would not lash out at them. There's another stone that is very famous back home, and it's in eastern Macedonia, and it's called Govedarov Kamen. Govedo means cattle, but the weird thing is that cattle is not, cattle right now, these days, is not being used. It's actually rams. And this stone, it's a big stone. It's not small. It's, you're taller than me. People climb up on top of it. This stone is used for fertility, and sacrifices are brought. So what happens is that the couple that cannot conceive, they come by, and it's done, I think it's done around St. George, 6th of May. I think, I'm not sure. Don't hold that as, you know, an absolute truth. I just do know that there's a certain time of the year when they do these rituals, and it's not done by a priest, because the priests abhor it. They see it as pagan, but the people do it. So they go, and it's like few different couples. It's not just one. They gather together and they bring their animals, and it's usually a ram, a male. So what happens is the animal is brought up on top of the stone, and it's sacrificed humanely for the fertility of the couple that has brought the animal forward. Then they circle around the stone, prayers are said, the invocations are said. I don't know what exactly, you know, how they do it, step by step, but people say that it works. So now skeptics are gonna say, other stuff, but this is what I have heard and what I have read about this stone. And now there's another tree. Actually, I've wrote about this on my Facebook page, but I don't know how many people have seen it, so I'm just gonna say it over here. There is a tree on a mountain that is close to my home city, Skopska Crna Gora, the Black Forest of Skopje. Skopje is the name of my town. And that tree has like a belly. Well, people that do science stuff they're gonna say like it's like a tumor of the tree, but actual people don't see it like that. They see it as the tree being pregnant, and they believe that the tree is inhabited by female spirits that help out with these issues. So it does have, it is kind of covered and, surrounded around, and it does have a little thing where you can light a candle and say a prayer next to the tree. And because we are Eastern Orthodox, they are connecting that to Bogorodica, to Mother Mary, which it doesn't necessarily mean that it's her, but that's what that is. And when it comes to forest spirits, actually, I'm going to talk about forest spirits in some other video, so I'm just going to leave this as it is now. And if you have any knowledge of your culture when it comes to spirits that dwell in trees or stones, write it down